Hello and welcome to this quick overview of the CorelDRAW X4 workspace. Well, right now we're looking at the brand new welcome screen in X4. You'll notice it has a number of tabs down the side, and we'll look at all those tabs in the feature tour. For right now, we're on the Quick Start tab. This means that we can access our most recently saved files, and a brand new feature is that I can hover over a file name and I can see an image of the first page of that file to remind me what I've saved in my document. You'll notice down here under document information we see the file name, file size, path, etc. If you want to open an alternate file, come down and click Open Other, and then you can navigate to where a file may be you wish to open. Alternately, you can choose New Blank Document. This means CorelDRAW will open with a blank page for you to start working. And finally, New from Template. Basically, the new X4 has an array of brand new templates that you can utilize to start your design process, and we'll look more at those in the new feature tour. But for right now, I'm going to click my workspace file and we'll jump in and have a look a bit further. Well, now that we have an open document and we can see the entire workspace, let's start right at the top. Across the top here we have what we call the title bar. Lets you know you're in X4, of course the path to the file we have open, the file name, and notice the .cdr extension, which means it's a CorelDRAW file. Now the next toolbar that we're looking at is the menu bar. The menu bar, of course, allows you to access all of those drop-down menus that you'll need to access for additional properties, tools, etc. The next bar that we're looking at is the standard toolbar. Now the standard toolbar is exactly that because it has all those standard things like new and open, save, print, all the cut and paste options, undo, redo, etc. Now one area I would like to point out to you here is that you can quickly access the welcome screen by using this new little icon. Just click and you can bring the welcome screen back up in case you might want to access some of the learning tools, the gallery, etc. etc. Our next toolbar is both powerful and intuitive, the property bar. The property bar always displays a relative set of options depending on the process you're performing. Now right now, the property bar is enabling us to make changes to our working area. And what I'm going to do is change the size of my drawing page. So, from the paper type selector, if I choose letter, by default letter opens in portrait mode. I might want to change this back to landscape, so that's easy. I might even wish to change my units of measurement, for example to millimeters. To highlight this, if I come down and select the text tool in the toolbox, you'll notice the property bar now displays a relative set of options for the creation and for the editing of text. Why don't we now take a closer look at the toolbox. The toolbox contains all of the tools you will utilize throughout the design process. To see the name of a tool, simply hover above that tool's icon. You'll notice many of these icons have a black triangle in the corner. That black triangle indicates this tool is part of a group. Click on the black triangle to display the group of tools. This is what we call a flyout menu. You can detach the flyout menu if you click on the dotted lines at the top and simply drag, creating a new toolbox you can place anywhere around your working area. The actual toolbox itself can be detached. Simply click and drag to detach, and you can resize this toolbox in any way that you like. Most of the bars within CorelDRAW can be undocked and placed in an alternate location. We can redock this toolbar at the top here if we like. Simply click and drag to an alternate location. On the right hand side, in a similar fashion, we have what we call dockers. Right now the hints docker is displayed. Have you noticed that every time I select a tool, the hints docker updates with hints about that tool and how to utilize the tool? There are many dockers available to us. If we go to Window and to Dockers, you can see a great list of dockers there. On the right hand side here you'll see the tab of a number of dockers I already have open, and I can simply move through those dockers by selecting the tab. I can detach the entire set of dockers, click on the title bar and drag, or double click to redock to the last location. I can collapse all the dockers, or of course I can reinstate the dockers as required. Looking a little further over to the right now, just past the dockers, we have what we call the colour palette. Now the colour palette has an array of colours and we can't see them all here. So when working with the colour palette, you for example select an object and simply click a colour in your palette to change your object to that colour. You can scroll through the colours in the palette by using the scroll icon top or bottom of the palette. Or additionally, you can actually choose this little icon that will force your colour palette to detach temporarily. As you can see, then choose a colour that you want, and when you've finished, the colour palette will automatically redock back to its position. Now don't forget, you can actually undock the colour palette completely. As you can see, work with it however you want, and then double click to pop it back to its last dock location. One last thing about the colour palette. There are more colours hidden underneath the surface. To see those, select a colour that's close, but then hold your mouse down. So click once, hold down, and you'll see what we call the extended colour palette that you might want to work with. That's the power of colour in Corel Draw X4. To demonstrate the status bar, I have a tight zoom in on our document. The status bar is this lower bar here. If I select the X, for example, you'll notice that the status bar gives me pertinent feedback. For example, the fill color and its formula, the outline color and the outline thickness, what layer I'm on, the number of nodes in that object, and other information that you will find incredibly invaluable to use over time. While we're here, let's look at the navigator. The navigator lies between the two scroll bars and looks like a magnifying glass. Simply click, hold your mouse down, and you can move around your document, maintaining the tight zoom that you may have on a document. Finally, Shift F4 to zoom back out. We're going to look at the page navigator. We're presently on page 1 of 1, in other words we only have one page in our document. However, if I click the plus, we can add a page after the current page. I can then move back one page at a time to my original page and in fact add a page in front of. We're now on page 1 of 3. Let's move back. We're now on page 2 of 3. And finally, these last two outer icons, they'll take you to the last page of the document or the first page of the document. But we want to be in the middle page of our multi-document because this is where we say goodbye to the workspace overview.